Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you today. They are shocking, to say the least. SEC alleged threats. We're going to get into that. No more XRP for retail. We're going to explain, and we're going to show you some evidence that this may be more accurate than we even realize. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen, and give us a follow on TikTok at Digital Perspectives, no spaces. Right now, we are at a market cap of $1.044 trillion right now. The market is up 4.6%, and we see right here that Bitcoin is 22,100 plus. We see Ethereum at 1,500 plus, screaming 41.9% gains on the 7-day. Down here at the number 7 spot now is XRP at 36 cents with 15.3% gains on the 7-day as well. Not so bad. Take a look at this. 36 cents on the bottom, 38 cents on the top. We'll keep an eye on it. Ladies and gentlemen, Linqto has a new offering, the EdTech platform. It's called Degreed. Let me give you this quick clip here. Take a listen.
Hey, what's going on, family friends? Ray Fuentes here, Community Director at Linqto, dropping in to let you know that we've lassoed another unicorn and brought it back to our beloved Linqto platform. This unicorn goes by the name of Degreed. Founded in 2012, Degreed is changing the world by virtue of its learning experience platforms. Degreed is a platform that connects the power of learning to new opportunities where individuals and organizations can discover content, build skills, and certify expertise. Degreed and early investors like Mark Cuban believe your education doesn't stop when you receive your college degree.
Did you hear that? Mark Cuban, early investor. Listen, this is private equity, and you can get it at Linqto.com if you're an accredited investor. Now, whether you have already joined Linqto or not, you need to click the link underneath this video, because right now, until July 21st, midnight Pacific time, Linqto is lowering the minimum investment threshold for Degreed from $10,000 to $5,000. Don't mess around, ladies and gentlemen. This stuff does not last long. All right, take a look at this right here. This is Ryan Selkis here. Not usually a fan, but he's got it right here. Now, Representative Tom Emmer really lays it down here. I'm not going to play the whole 5 minutes, but I have exactly keyed up here what we need to hear. And it's this little section on the way out, and you're going to want every single bit of it. This is basically Tom Emmer calling out the SEC enforcement representative here, Graywall, and really calling him out about what the approach from the SEC has been. Take a quick listen to this, and we'll move forward.
Mr. Grewal, has Chair Gensler ever directed you, or to your knowledge asked any of your colleagues, to make it a bloodbath for companies who don't respond to a sweep letter, which are voluntary?
No, that's not happened.
Interesting. We become aware that Chair Gensler has in the past directed the Division of Enforcement to send a sweep letter to a particular sector of the crypto community designed to jam them into a violation that is allegedly unconstitutional. And if any company does not respond to said sweep letter, which I'll reiterate, as you've said several times, are supposed to be voluntary, then the SEC would make it a, quote, bloodbath for them. If true, I imagine such a tactic would significantly erode trust between the public and the SEC. Here's the problem. The SEC isn't interested in clarifying what areas of the crypto industry fall under SEC jurisdiction. We know that because FinHub, that you've referred to, the SEC division focused on crafting crypto regulation, has essentially dissolved under Gensler. Nonetheless, while abandoning good faith attempts to clarify how the Commission's existing authority applies to digital assets, the SEC is hell-bent on expanding the size of its crypto enforcement division and using enforcement to unconstitutionally expand its jurisdiction. Under Chair Gensler, the SEC has become a power-hungry regulator, politicizing enforcement, baiting companies to, quote, come in and talk to the Commission, then hitting them with enforcement actions and discouraging good faith cooperation. Understand, sir, there is a new day coming. Thank you. I yield back.
There you have it. There's two takeaways from this that we need to get out of this. One, obviously elections are coming in November, so if the House takes back the power with the Republican side, then Gensler's going to lose his job. That's basically what that is. And number two, this is a full court press for the Democratic side. If you want to achieve the things that you want to achieve, you better not wait until election time, because they run the risk of losing the control and the leverage there. So this really puts a full court press. The ball is in the Dem side to be able to somehow get enough bipartisan cooperation to get something passed so they can get it to the Senate. We will keep an eye on this, no doubt about it, but love what Tom Emmer had to say there. There's obviously an overreach from the SEC. Very quickly on this, we know that the Department of Homeland Security Special Agent revealed the identity, or the known acknowledged the identities of the 4 people who created Bitcoin, which are in fact Satoshi Nakamoto. The question here is, in this House Financial Services Committee hearing, why did no one acknowledge this problem and a lack of public disclosure of that fact about Bitcoin to the SEC? Why were they not questioned? Why they're not going after the people that created Bitcoin for not filing public disclosures there? You know, listen, I just want a level playing field, and all of this is very rational to ask. I don't want anybody to lose money or be hurt. But the reality is that people would say, well, if you do that, you're going to hurt people and they're going to lose a lot of money. I understand. But think of this for a moment. Think of the truth being hidden the way it obviously is, and someone heavily invested in something like Bitcoin with this known fact that is not shared or publicly disclosed, and then the people who control the million Bitcoin in there decide to flood the market at some time. I bet you will have wanted to know all of this then. Take a look at this, because there's more problems here. Chris Larsen has said for quite some time that Bitcoin needs to get away from proof of work. Well, now he's suggesting that they may be able to remain with proof of work, but change the incentive behind it from money to something else. Take a listen.
The problem is in the code. We can't rely on the goodness of folks like Brittany, who are true leaders. But unfortunately, the code is what sets the incentive. We've got to change the incentive.
So what does changing the code look like? What actually in practice would that look like?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy. It's going to take years. But whether that's a soft fork with the community going along with this necessary change, knowing there's a crisis here, or it's a hard fork that is driven by kind of a younger generation of people that are going to be more dialed into the problem. But what we've got to do, and so this is the thing I think that's very different from Ethereum. Obviously, it's switching the proof of stake. I actually believe it would be a lost opportunity if Bitcoin changed to proof of stake, because it does have what Brittany represents, this incredibly entrepreneurial, powerful mining industry, which is not the problem, right? The problem is they're being incented to do the wrong thing, which is burn as much energy as possible. What if you could incent them with a change in the code that says, hey, work in proof of work is not burning energy for all these guesses, but rather maybe creating renewable energy you're pushing into the grid. And based on, how many joules of renewable energy you make, you get a higher chance of getting that reward or proposing the new ledger. Or maybe it was based on direct air capture. The more molecules of CO2 you captured, the more odds you're going to get that reward or be able to propose the new state of the ledger. That would now completely flip the script.
It really would flip the script. And I tell you, I hope to see something like that, because then you're talking about you can reveal the identities like you should of any project, Bitcoin or otherwise, should be known to all of us, and especially investors, right? And then you can actually bring real use case to this so-called store of value that is really providing a use case utility to really make sure that you're taking care of carbon incentives and things of that nature. Very, very clever approach right there, but it will take a lot of work if the community chooses to do so. And I hope they do, because if not, the governments have got you in the crosshairs about the energy consumption. You best know it from UK to Europe, no question about it. And I would look for a carbon tax to help incentivize this change, ladies and gentlemen. This right here is Warren Davidson in the House Financial Services Committee hearing yesterday, which got fiery at times. And in this particular request or question and answer right here, Warren Davidson really asked about the Hinman speech and whether it was actually submitted to the ethics office before reading it.
An SEC official gives a speech at a conference, and the official begins, of course, by stating that, quote, their views are their own and not necessarily those of the commission. Anyone who's ever heard an SEC office official speak would know that this is standard, and they would not interpret the speech as legal guidance. However, let's say that the SEC official consulted SEC staff and perhaps even ethics directly to assist them in writing speech or giving guidance. Under this scenario, would the written speech still be considered personal views of the individual and not views of the commission?
Respectfully, I can't answer that right now because that hypothetical is a real scenario that's playing out in litigation.
Oh, what litigation would that be?
That would be the Ripple litigation.
Ripple XRP. So is it true that Director Hinman submitted his speech to ethics for approval?
Again, I can't comment on pending litigation.
Okay. An SEC.
And there you have it. So no answer. And it was really pretty fruitless yesterday, but this is shared by Library, who has experienced 4 years now of scrutiny and purgatory from the SEC. Says Warren Davidson in 2019, we voluntarily foolishly presented to the SEC regarding Library token. In that presentation, we went over the Hinman speech line by line. Oddly, no one in the room mentioned it wasn't official guidance. The video from JV, who has been posting great content all day, has been a big Library supporter. Thank you, JV. Listen, JV has been crushing it out here. If you're not following that guy, you absolutely should. Take a look at this. Oh, this gets ugly, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking, the SEC in a heavily redacted letter alleging threats against an expert asked Judge Torres to revoke Amici status from John Deaton granted to the XRP holders and to bar John Deaton from any further participation in the case. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Jeremy Hogan says, imagine you're a second-year law student who just started clerking at the SEC. Exciting. And then you're given the job of scrolling through Twitter and YouTube to look for anything that makes an attorney and 68,000 people look bad so they can be attacked in a pleading. Imagine. That's exactly what's going on here. And shout out to Jeremy Hogan and James K. Filan for sharing this stuff. And shout out to John Deaton, who really, the truth be told, all they did in this pleading and asking for this for John Deaton and all of us to be barred is acknowledge that the SEC isn't here to protect any of us. John Deaton is. And thank God for it, because they go on to take in some meaningless tweets that really here he was just showing frustration at the time of the SEC. No one was going to take action. He says there's only one way to deal with a bully is to punch that MF in the face. I'm up at 3M for a reason, profanity. See you soon. Right. And then you see, might have in a video example, they said Deaton said stating he might have to walk over and slap the blank out of former SEC Jay Clayton. This is, calling the SEC as a blood-sucking, innovating, killing cesspool of corruption. And first of all, I don't think that statement's actually threatening. I think it's actually more accurate than it is anything else. And the thing is, it's not opinion. I can provide the evidence. And if the SEC or anybody wants to sit down at Congress and have a hearing about the things that we can prove, I am certainly willing to participate in that. So this is obviously really, really, really cheap poker by the SEC. Is it a surprise to us? No, it shouldn't be at this point, because the reality is we've seen Judge Netburn acknowledge that from her own seat where she's watching all of this unfold as well. Now let's take a turn here, Because the SEC claims the XRP itself is a security, and anyone sells it is violating Section 5 of Securities Act. SEC claims Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larsen enriched themselves at the expense of investors, and it is seeking $1.3 billion in disgorgement from these defendants. Leonidas shared that Jed has finally sold the last of his XRP. It has been estimated that he has earned a total of $3.09 billion and 708 Bitcoin since 2014. Most of his sales occurred after the SEC lawsuit, against Ripple. 2.5 billion was cashed out after the 22nd of December in 2020. Thank you to Leonidas here. So the question here is, and I brought this up in a video yesterday, No More XRP, and if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. But I want to give you a summation here today because, we may have what we're looking at here to be way more accurate than any of us realize. And, it is interesting that, this could be the scenario that Jed McCaleb could have been the liquidity provider to the exchanges. And the reason I say that is because of this. In Q4, it is obvious in Q4 from Ripple's report right here, they made it very clear, if you go down the report, that they are not doing OTC only, giving programmatic pause to sales for programmatic sales. So secondary exchanges is what that means. Programmatic sales, 0, right there. That means no sales from Q4 2019 till today, by the way. There's more evidence of it here. If it was written right here, Ripple sold 0 XRP on cryptocurrency exchanges in Q4 2019. Ripple dramatically reduced the amount of XRP it sold in the fourth quarter of 2019. The company's latest XRP markets report shows the San Francisco startup stopped its sales of digital asset on cryptocurrency exchanges altogether. So Ripple didn't sell any in 2019 Q4. That's not speculation. That's a fact, Jack. The company typically sells XRP on exchanges, programmatically is the term, at a rate of 10 basis points of overall XRP daily volume. However, that's been shut off. And you can see again, 0 programmatic sales. That's 2019, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're not getting it from Ripple, which is the source, then you're getting it from Jed, because he was the only one selling them at an obligated rate based on the daily volume. Programmatic selling is any time a publisher sells inventory without directly communicating with buyer. Check this part. Selling via exchanges fits this definition. So there's no confusion about what 0 programmatic sales means. As more financial institutions lever RippleNet's ODL service, and by the way, this is now Q2 2020. More liquidity is added into the XRP market. That said, Ripple has been a buyer in the secondary market and may continue to undertake purchases in the future at market prices, which means they have not been selling since Q4 2019, but they have been a buyer back now beginning in Q2 2020. So Jed's selling on to the exchanges, I presume. Maybe Leonidas could help determine that last little fact there. And from that point, we could understand that in that 2020 second quarter, the report also stated that they saw programmatic XRP sales remaining 0. Come on in. 0. Come on in. Now, let's go to here. Q1 2022. I bet we're all wondering if XRP is still not selling any XRP to the secondary exchanges, programmatic sales. Ripple has continued to engage in sales related to on-demand liquidity, and these volumes have ramped up substantially as Ripple's ODL business expanded as well, as has been the case since Q4 2019. Ripple did not conduct programmatic sales in Q4. Ladies and gentlemen, Ripple is the steward of the XRP escrow. no exchanges have been getting XRP from them unless they're ODL partners since Q4 2019. Come on in. This means that obviously the source of the liquidity, speculating, has been coming from Jed McCaleb's taco stand wallet. And 2 days ago, Brad Garlinghouse acknowledges, tacos anyone? Just kidding, the stand is closed. Does that mean that technically that XRP liquidity for the retail secondary market is closed? Or the XRP liquidity from Jed's wallet, the retail liquidity? Because Ripple has acknowledged since Q4 2019, they haven't been selling any to cryptocurrency exchanges. Where are we going to get it from now? The thing we need to pay attention to now is, will Ripple pick up selling programmatic sales back to the exchanges now that Jed's wallet is empty? That is going to be fun to watch on the next quarterly report. Then there's this. Are we watching an SEC backtrack? This looks like the door opening for relisting XRP the day after Jed is done selling. What a coincidence. Credit to BlackBerry right here, Mr. Intuitive, who also credits Cowboy Crypto. And the list goes on, and people find these things. We love everybody for it. It says here, Section 4 could exempt investors in the market from registration. This came from the trying to get John Deaton and all of us kicked out with the alleged threats, by the way. Section 4 could exempt investors in the market from registration. The SEC's claims are for Ripple's offerings and those by its affiliate, not purchases and sales by investors in the market. Now, we have learned over and over from the initial complaint that the SEC claimed that every single sale of XRP on secondary exchanges or otherwise are in fact securities. John Deaton's taught us that very well. Now they're taking a back step. Is this back step more of an unfaithful allegiance to the law as it is called out by the Hinman rejection and denial from Judge Netburn? The hypocrisy in arguing to the court, on the other hand, that the speech is not relevant to the market's understanding how or whether the SEC will regulate cryptocurrency. And on the other hand, that Hinman sought and obtained legal advice from SEC counsel in drafting his speech. This suggests that the SEC is adopting its litigation positions to further its desired goal and not out of faithful allegiance to the law. One has to wonder if what these things are being said here in this most recent filing here from, the SEC trying to get John Deaton and 68,000 XRP holders thrown out is more of that positioning for the moment in this litigation and changing their position as it suits them to try to win here. And you have to start asking yourself if Judge Netburn isn't going to start throwing the idea of disbarment around, because this is not a laughing matter. And this isn't a swap meet. This is a legal case. That's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe. I'll catch all of you on the next one.